Most people think that the governments of the various nations are in charge of the entire planet. Some might contend that as the lone superpower, the United States is in charge of the world events. You might not be aware though that underneath all the politics, legislation, and conflicts, powerful families covertly influence government decision-making to further their own agendas. These families have been around for hundreds or even thousands of years and have grown so wealthy and powerful as a result that they have even been the subject of numerous conspiracy theories. In today's video, we expose these influential families that have had a significant impact on the global governmental, social, and economic landscape. Welcome to Billionista. If you love videos about luxury living, please subscribe and click the bell so you never miss a video. And don't forget to like and share too. The Windsor family, possibly one of the most well-known and powerful families on the planet, and has familial lines that have spread throughout Europe. This family has an impact that literally encompasses the entire world. Wait till you learn just how wealthy the most recent incarnation of British royalty is. And if that doesn't inspire you to locate your own Windsor descendant to marry, I don't know what will. The three children of Prince William and Kate Middleton, George, Charlotte, and Louise, aren't just living in the lap of luxury. They are also profitable. The value of Prince George is already $2.8 billion, and Charlotte, his sister, is at $4.3 billion. Despite none of them being 10 yet, they are already making 10 digits. Indeed, they are totally astounding. The Windsor family isn't merely at the top of a nation with a $2.7 trillion GDP. Their impact extends to every continent in the world, far beyond Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales, and England. Yep, even Antarctica. The island of Tanna in the South Pacific is among these nations. Even Canada, where the image of Queen Elizabeth is depicted on their $20 bill. In actuality, Queen Elizabeth controls 1/6 of the territory on the planet. Naturally, she will appear on a few bills. The Queen is formally the biggest landowner on the planet, possessing more than 6 billion acres of land and serving as a nominal leader of 16 nations. These nations, including Australia, New Zealand, and Canada, are among the richest in the world and are considered to be a member of the Commonwealth realm. The Windsor family has a number of houses, castles, and estates, all quite pricey. One of the largest art collections in the world is owned by the British royal family, comprising more than 7,000 paintings, 40,000 watercolors and drawings, and around 150,000 old master prints. They possess historical images, tapestries, and crown jewels valued at $4 billion. This collection contains pretty much everything that one may regard to be art. Kensington Palace and Buckingham Palace are two of the most opulent royal possessions, which are estimated to be worth $630 million and $5 billion respectively. They basically reside in one of the most costly and well-known buildings in the world. Rothschild family. If you're familiar with conspiracies, you've probably heard of the Rothschilds. From the most absurd to the most logical, the Rothschilds were involved in some form or another. The Rothschilds have done everything, from controlling every central bank in the globe to even modifying the weather. If the first page of Google is to be trusted, their family has an official $500 billion net worth. But many believe it is truly in the trillions of dollars. Who exactly are the Rothschilds? They are a German-American transnational banking and financial dynasty. They became well known on a global scale in the early 18th century and afterwards established themselves over all of Europe. The Austrian government even promoted them to nobility. Centuries ago, Mayor Rothschild positioned his five sons in the economic capitals of Europe, and this was the catalyst for the Rothschild family's historical ascent to prominence. They successfully adapted to industrialization as economic expansion picked up across Europe, landing to an oligopolistic leadership in the international metals and oil markets. Due to their immense authority, the Rothschilds were able to lend money to entire nations. They often lent money to countries to go to war, often financing both sides of the conflict. They lent the Bank of England enough coins in 1825 to prevent a market liquidity crisis. After Prussia defeated France, they gave it loans. Simply put, they were just raking it in. The family now wishes to maintain its status as a monetary superpower more understatedly. Despite avoiding ostentatious shows of riches, they spent their wealth by giving away enormous amounts to charity, particularly following their Surrealist party in the 1970s. The Rothschild family is without a doubt very strong, well-connected, and shrouded in secrecy, thus the proliferation of conspiracies. The Walton family. This family is so wealthy and powerful that their net worth of $199.3 billion is ridiculous. They also control a huge company whose net worth exceeds several nations' GDP. Yet, they are hardly discussed. Did you realize that there are over 10,500 Walmart locations, employing nearly 2.2 million people, spread across 24 different nations globally? Sam Walton established Walmart in 1962. It finally developed into the largest revenue-generating firm in the world, exceeding $540 billion in revenue. Consequently, the Walton family became the wealthiest family in the US. Walmart is so strong that just having it in a neighborhood is enough to crush any rival businesses. In just a few years, if Walmart opens up in a small community, nearly half of its retail businesses will have vanished at the hands of this retail behemoth. Naturally, Walmart has an absurdly big consumer base. Every week, it serves about 220 million consumers and appeals to almost everyone because of its affordable prices and extensive production selection. But the Walton family has been successful in more than one endeavor. After all, being a one-trick pony doesn't get you over $100 billion. Sam's Club was one of these businesses, a chain of superstores that sells groceries and other items to members, in much the same way as Costco. It ran 600 warehouses and made up to $57 billion in earnings. Even their philanthropic organizations are successful. The Walton Family Foundation has been successful in addressing environmental concerns and education, spending $1 billion on the latter. The Walton family has also dabbed in politics using their enormous riches. The Walton family's political views aren't precisely uniform either. Different Walmart heirs have donated a great deal of cash to opposing political parties doing everything possible to sway authorities. But rather than an indication of differing political views, this seems to be a case of ensuring political favor no matter who happens to be in charge. Before we go on, I just want to ask you guys about your thoughts regarding the three mentioned families. Let us know in the comments section below because I want to hear from my viewers and get that conversation going. And now, back to the video. Koch family. What results from the combination of money, time, a decent amount of generational wealth, and oil? That's right, the Koch family. A family of oil billionaires who have influenced the political and economic climate in the United States. The Koch family, who currently has a net worth of $100 billion, began their ascent to prominence with a business with a long name. The Wood River Oil and Refining Company was its original name, before being thankfully renamed Koch Industries, in honor of Fred Koch. one of the organization's founding members. His sons, David and Charles Koch, also known as the Koch brothers, ran it right up until David's death in 2018 at the age of 79. With an annual sales of $115 billion, Koch Industries is presently the sixth largest privately owned firm in the world and the second largest in the United States. Oh, but Koch Industries isn't just wealthy, they're also really productive. They've bought so many businesses and have so many branches. They now successfully handle everything, and I'm not even kidding. These purchases were also extremely wise. The $22.5 billion purchase of Georgia Pacific is one of them, one of the biggest paper producers and distributors in the world. Under well-known labels like Brownie, Angel Soft, and Vanity Fair, they offer a wide range of domestic goods. Additionally, they spent $7.5 billion buying Molex, a manufacturer of electronic components that also collaborates with the U.S. National Guard. Morgan family. The late 19th century saw the beginning of this family's ascent to global fame. Starting with John Pierpont Morgan, who is possibly the most well-known of all the Morgans. The son of J.P. Morgan would enter the banking industry, following in his father's footsteps and gaining international notoriety as one of the most renowned bankers. In the end, J.P. Morgan and Company, one of the most influential financial firms in the United States, immortalized his name. Morgan began to focus on the steel sector in the late 1890s. He formed a partnership with the president of Carnegie Steel and paid $480 million to buy the business, a sum that at that time exceeded the whole budget of the U.S. federal government. He proved that you have to spend money to make money, because boy did he. J.P. Morgan combined his steel businesses in 1901 to form U.S. Steel, a steel business valued at $1.4 billion, put him not just at the pinnacle of the banking industry, but the railroad sector too. For good measure, he also had control over 60% of the steel industry, not to mention that he served on the boards of directors for 48 distinct businesses. This undoubtedly gave the Morgan family tremendous influence in the world's politics and economy. J.P. Morgan belonged to a number of prestigious community centers where he could meet and mingle with some of the most influential persons in society. Even better, he started his own exclusive club, the Metropolitan Club, which attracted wealthy members like fellow millionaire Cornelius Vanderbilt. Morgan was a remarkably clever businessman who was able to amass a huge amount of money and power, but he was the epitome of a ruthless competitor who intimidated, outcompeted, and outright bought out any rivals. J.P. Morgan left behind what would grow to be the biggest bank in the U.S., with assets of $3.7 trillion following his death in 1913. The J.P. Morgan Chase is officially the biggest bank in the world by market value, since it has bought so many banks over the course of its existence. So Billionistas, which family is your favorite or your least favorite? Let me know in the comments. That's it for this time. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.